Take your time. If you want to go in there and see how it's positioned, you can. No, you're okay.
I'm ready. You should have seen me when I was a strip club owner.
Oh god, that was last week. She's like, when I saw this today, I just mouth dropped. It was so much fun. Take this down, please.
Well, you need to say you called.
I thought, oh, I'm sorry. The defense would call Miss Terry Escobar to the stand.
Ms. Escobar?
Really have those sweets for.
Has to be.
Just for fun.
All right. Good evening, ma'am. You've already been sworn in, and you may proceed whenever you're ready, Ms. Gold.
Miss, I'm sorry, Escobar. Would you please state your name for the jury? Oh, for the jury. I'm so sorry. For the jury.
Your Honor, my name is Terry Escobar. Escobar.
Thank you. Let the record reflect that Ms. Escobar spelled her last name for the record. What do you do for a living, Ms. Escobar?
Well, I'm retired now. I used to work for the school board.
And how long have you been retired?
Well, I worked there for 35 years, a great career as a teacher there, and I've been retired just a few years now.
Turning to the events on October 8th, 2020, do you recall what happened that day?
It was a day I could never forget. It was so tragic. So tragic. Yes, I remember it was the day that the little girl was hit by the car.
What were you doing around 3 p.m.? At 3:30 p.m., I'm sorry.
Well, a little bit before, I just picked up my sweet grandbaby from school, and we did our usual, grandbaby time, and we were on the way to Target.
To run errands.
To run errands, just spend sweet time with my little grandbaby.
So were you driving around 3:30 p.m.?
I was on Waters Avenue.
And what do you remember?
I was, after I picked up my grandbaby, we were driving on Waters, and it was pretty much normal traffic, but then there was a black SUV that was just speeding, driving erratically, changing lanes, and revving his engine.
When you say driving erratically, what do you mean?
Well, like I said, he would swerve in and out of lanes, he seemed like he was in a hurry.
Did you see him doing anything in his car?
He was on his phone.
How did you keep up with the driver? Were you...
Well, I was driving the speed limit. He was speeding, but he would get caught by the red lights, and the way the lights were timed, it kind of worked out to where he'd catch a light, and then I was driving the speed limit, and we'd be next to each other, or I was behind him. But we were pretty neck and neck along Waters with the way the lights were timed.
Were you concerned by the way the black SUV was driving?
Yes, it was scary. He was in and out of lanes, speeding, and on his phone. I wanted my grandbaby to stay safe, so yes, it was concerning.
So going back to the actual accident, and I know this is probably horrible to remember, but can you tell us, did you actually see the accident?
Unfortunately, I did.
Can you tell us about it?
There was a school bus over on one side, the little girl's on the median, and one stepped out, and the SUV just waited until the very last minute to hit the brakes, but it was too late. He hit her, she flipped up onto the top of his car and across the road.
And did you stay after to talk to any police officers?
Well, I wish I could have, but my grandbaby was in the car, and I can't let that sweet thing get traumatized by the sight of a dead child on the side of the road. So we left. I wanted to, do my duty for the family, so I called the police later.
Now, when you were driving behind Ms. Dalton, did you see any cars to the right or the left?
No, it was just that black SUV in the center lane, no cars on either side of it.
Did you see Ms. Dalton try to swerve to avoid hitting Rebecca?
No, she stayed in the lane and went right towards the child.
So do you believe that the girl held any fault in this accident?
She shouldn't have walked out in front of traffic. She shouldn't have walked out in front of the car, so she has fault.
Well, do you think that the school board is at fault?
No.
And how often do you drive down Waters Avenue?
Occasionally. I live in that area, and it's been, a few times.
And
you say that you didn't talk to police officer because you were with your granddaughter, but you are here today to give the truth of what happened that day.
Yes, I'm here testifying.
Okay, so no one swerved to get out of the way of hitting Rebecca, is what
Correct,
you're saying.
right.
And no further questions.
Okay, cross-examination.
Good evening, Ms. Escobar. So you mentioned that you're retired now, but you worked for the school board for 35 years as a teacher?
That's right.
Okay, and so on the day of this incident when Rebecca was killed, you said you noticed the driver of the SUV driving erratically, speeding in and out of lanes,
Yes,
and that concerned you, correct?
yes,
Because you had your granddaughter in the car?
yes,
But yet you maintained a speed which was close enough for you to stay, which you were able to stay
Objection,
close
compound
to the SUV driver.
Okay, hold on, there's an objection. It was compound question?
Yes.
Do you have any response?
I can rephrase.
Okay, then I'll sustain the objection, you can rephrase.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. So, you noticed the driver was driving erratically
yes,
and speeding in and out of traffic, correct?
yes,
Yet you continued to stay in close proximity to this SUV.
I continue driving down Waters, yes.
So you say that you were concerned for your granddaughter, yet you continued to keep close
Objection, this is
contact.
confusing the facts.
Overruled, you can, witness may answer.
We were both driving down Waters, fairly close to each other.
Okay, and you were also asked in your questioning that whether you thought the school board was at fault, and you said you don't believe they're at fault, is that correct?
That's correct.
And are you aware that the school board has been in fault for the death of a child? in the past?
Objection, relevance. That has nothing to do to the negligence of Rebecca McGee.
Response to the relevance objection.
Well, she's adamantly saying that the school board's not at fault, so I'm just asking, I would think that if she was aware, I have a question really. In her deposition, she mentioned that the school board was at fault for a previous accident.
All right, I'm going to sustain the objection.
So, let's see, in your, one moment, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
Please. You were just stating that you were driving the speed limit, but the other driver was not driving the speed limit. Is that correct?
That's right.
You're adamant that you were going the correct speed limit, yet the other person was driving erratically?
Right.
And your testimony, let me rephrase it. So, and it sounds to me that you're siding with the school board by saying that they're not at fault.
I'm not siding with anybody, I'm telling what happened and what I saw.
And do you believe the fact that you have worked for the school board for 35 years is influencing your opinion of whether they're at fault or not?
No, I think I'm giving a truthful account of what I saw regardless of any motive you're trying to drum up here.
And so you said that you are now retired from the school board?
I'm retired, yes.
Retired meaning you get retirement pay from the school board?
I receive a pension.
Okay.
Objection, I would say relevance and argumentative.
All right, I'll overrule that objection. You may continue.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Ms. Escobar, how fast were you driving on October 8th when you saw that accident?
40 miles per hour.
So you were going speed limit?
Yes,
And how fast was the black SUV going?
faster than me.
No further questions.
All right, witness may step down.